Hi there everybody, and welcome to the second lesson on using Google Presentations. In the previous lesson, we started to make a presentation on linear equations. And in this lesson, we're going to continue building that presentation. And one of the cool things we're going to do now is we're going to add in some video. So let's take a look at how to do that. Here's the presentation that I started working on last time in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and open that presentation up. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a new slide. So I'm going to click on the New Slide button, and it's added in a new slide for me. Now, there's two important things that I want to draw your attention to. The first is that it's added the slide in the wrong position. It's added the slide as number 2, and I actually want the slide to be number 3. Very easy to change that. Simply click and drag to move the slide into the correct location. The other thing that you'll notice, though, is that it has added the wrong kind of slide. Now, because I want to add in a video, I just want a slide that is blank except for the slide title. So I want a title-only slide. Let's see how we can change the format or layout of the slide. If I right-click on the slide, I'm going to get a menu. And one of the items in that menu is Apply Layout. And you can see that there are a number of preset layouts already waiting for me. This is the layout I want here, title only. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that layout. Now, just before we go on, I want you to notice that next to the Add a New Slide button is a drop-down list where you can add a slide of a particular type if you want to, rather than adding it and then changing the layout afterwards. So we've got our slide in place. First thing I want to do is give this slide a title, Revising Linear Equations. And now we're ready to insert our video. To do that, go to the Insert menu and click on Video. In this case, we can either search YouTube for a video or we can enter in a URL. Now, I've got the URL of a video that Mindset has posted to our YouTube channel that I'd like to use. And you'll notice that as soon as you put the URL in, it gives you a preview of the video so you can check that it's the right one. It's the right one, so I'm going to click on Select, and that is going to insert my video onto the slide. Now, the only other thing that I want to do is just position this video correctly on the slide. At the moment, it's covering up some of my title. So I'm going to click and drag to move the video around, and you'll notice that once again, I'm getting up those red guidelines. I want this video to be centered in the slide, so I'm going to position it just about there. Now, if your mouse hand isn't stable enough, you can always right-click on any object, whether it's a video or a text box, and you can use this feature here, Center on Page, horizontally or vertically. So that's quite a nice shortcut if your mouse hand isn't that stable. Now, there's one little thing that's been bugging me about this presentation, and it's part of the template that we chose. So I want to take this opportunity to show you that even if you have selected one of the pre-made layouts or templates, you can go ahead and make whatever changes you like to that template. Take a look at how. Now, there are two ways that we can get to the page where we can edit the master of this template. The first is in Slide, where we can select the Edit Master feature, or the second is in View, where we can just click on the Master link. Either will take you to the same place. This is now where you can make changes to the slide template that you are using. And one of the changes that I'd like to make is to this slide over here, this slide over here, and this slide over here. But just before I do that, I want you to notice that there is a master slide in the master template. And any changes you make to the text or formatting on this slide will be carried through to all the other slides. But the change that I want to make is to this box here. I don't want it to end before the edge of the slide. I actually want to pull it and make it the full width of the slide. So I'm going to go ahead, select that image, and select it right to the edge of the slide, and do that on all of the slides where this shape exists. And the last one, click and drag. Now that we've made the changes to our master, I can go ahead and close this set of windows. And what you'll notice now is that this blue shape extends the full width of the slide. And the reason I like that is because it just makes the whole slide look a little bit more balanced. So far so good. We've been able to insert a video onto one of our slides. The next thing I want to show you though is how we can work with the two-columned slide layout, and we're going to be applying some animations to that slide. So first thing I want to do is I want to insert a new slide. In this case though, I'm going to go ahead and select directly the layout that I want, which is a title and two columns. There it is. The title that I want here is Worked Example 1, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a linear equation into this left-hand block. Now you'll probably notice that this equation is far too small for most people to read, so I'm going to go ahead and format this. Because this is a mathematical equation, I want to use Times New Roman as my font face, but I want to make it quite a lot bigger. I'm going to make it font size 36. And the last thing I'm going to do for now is just italicize the variables to make it look like a good mathematical expression. So now I've inserted the worked example I want you to work on. Let's, in the right-hand column, insert the worked solution for that example. So as before, I'm going to click to add text, and I've got text that I've copied already. There it is over there. But I need to do a little bit of formatting to this text as well. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to reduce the indentation. So same as in Google Documents, there's the reduce indentation. I want all the equations to be in Times New Roman font. So I'm going to go ahead and select each of those. And I want everything to be font size 30. And last step, just need to italicize all of the variables. And the last one, done. Now, this is coming along. The text, though, is in black. And if you remember the text we had on our second slide, we chose one of the theme colors of dark blue. Now, the only reason I mention this is it's generally a good idea for the text on your slides in your presentation to be consistent. Unless there's a really good reason for text to deviate from the default, I really do suggest that you make all the text in your presentation the same. So I'm going to change this font color to that same theme blue, dark blue color. So let's do that quickly. Select all of that text. Select the theme dark blue, and again on this side. And we're pretty much done. But the last thing that I want to show you before we get onto the animations is that I want to put a border around this text box. So select the text box so that it's highlighted. And now I can go to the line tools. I want to just increase the line weighting to 4, and I want to change the line color to this green that is also part of the preset theme colors. And the reason I do that is so that it highlights and just makes it clear which is the example to be worked on and what is the worked solution. Now, another thing just to be aware of when you're doing presentations is use animations sparingly. Use them to underline or emphasize your points. There's often nothing worse than seeing a presentation which is just full of gratuitous animations. Because just like slides that have lots and lots of text on, all that does is it takes people's attention away from you, the presenter, and the message that you are trying to communicate. But in this case, I've got a very specific reason for adding animations, and I want you to see what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text box that I want to animate and go to View, Animations. And that's going to bring up a right-hand panel here where we can access the animations. Click to add an animation, and the animation I want to add is this first one in the list, which is Fade In. I want it to come in when I click the mouse, but the other conditions are after a previous animation or with a previous animation. But for now, I want on click. I want the animation to be revealed by paragraph, and you'll see why in a moment. And I just want to make the animation a little bit quicker. So 0.5 seconds. Now let's see what that animation looks like. I'm going to go ahead and click on the play button, which is going to put this into almost presentation view. So it starts out without anything in that box, but as I click through, you can see what it's doing. It's revealing the worked solution step by step. Now, this is quite a useful teaching technique. You can give this question, if you're a teacher, to your class of learners and have them try it on their own. And then as a class, you can work step by step through the worked solution and just make sure that everybody understands each step in how you got to the final answer. But you can also give this presentation to your learners as a self-study exercise. And in this case, again, they can do the example on their own and then click through the animations to check their work step by step. The next thing, though, that I want to show you while we are doing animations is how to do transitions from one slide to another. The default transition is just to snap from one slide to another, but we can change that default. While you're here in the animations panel, you can see that the slide transition is currently no transition. But if you click on that, you can select any of the preset transitions. I'm just going to use a simple one called Fade. Again, make it a little bit faster, 0.5, and I'm going to apply it to all the slides in my presentation. So what that will do is it will add a transition as you move through your deck of slides that fades in from one slide to the other using that fade transition of half a second. Well, thanks so much for joining me in this lesson. I hope that you've learned a lot. Remember, we inserted videos and we did some work on animations. Join me in the next lesson where we're going to finish off this presentation by inserting a table and formatting that table with some quite nifty Google presentation features. Until next time, bye-bye.